The overall message of today's chapel is that hip-hop is not merely entertainment, but it's deeply theological. I'll say that again. Hip-hop is not merely entertainment, but it is deeply theological. Has severe theological implications. Yeah, okay, you can shout if you want. That's cool. All right, so can y'all help me unpack that statement? How does hip-hop culture correlate with theology, and why should theologians, people of the Moody Bible Institute, who are studying to be pastors and leaders of the church, why should they consider the influence of hip-hop?
Yeah, so the key to this one is understanding the theological implications of where God resides when we look at Scripture. God always resides on the bottom of empire. From the beginning of the text, when we read the Bible, we see Israel on the bottom of the Egyptian empire, and their God inhabits, works with, frees, liberates those people. And all throughout the text, you see God consistently show up, whether it's the bottom of the Babylonian Empire, whether it's the the bottom of the Persian Empire. And then when you get into the New Testament, you see an Afro-Asiatic occupied Jesus of Nazareth on the bottom of the empire in Jerusalem, and God showing up for the people who are on the bottom. Why does that coincide with hip-hop? Because hip-hop is created out of a culture, or created as a culture from people who are on the bottom of the American empire. People who have been left out, who have been left to die. When you read the history of hip-hop, and we don't have time to go into all of it, there is a theological implication that comes from people being marginalized, oppressed, that makes them rely on God. The same thing we see with the civil rights movement and all the way before that. Anytime people are marginalized and oppressed, there is a reliance on God that brings new theological perspectives.